Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what we make here, please do us a huge solid and hit the like and subscribe button down below. We also live stream the podcast every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, and I host a video game live stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central, so come by and hang out. If you're feeling extra giving, please check out our Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the show. Mind Gap Podcast. Everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And we are very glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Because today is a day that's going to change your life. You don't know it yet, but it's going to happen.
Because we are streaming solo on YouTube. We've made the fucking switch.
We're rolling solo, baby, on the YouTubes. That's right. And if you're not watching us live, that's okay. Because our entertainment transcends mediums. We want to be here for what you need. And if you're in audio only because you got shit going on, I respect it. I'm the same way. I listen to my podcasts in audio format while I'm walking my dog, when I'm working out, when I'm just, cooking, cleaning, driving. That's how I consume my shit. So for those of you that have been listening, thank you. We appreciate you. But to those other people, they're like, man, I wish I could see Doug and Justin live. Well, congratulations. You can. In one place.
That deserves a congrats to you.
And that's YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube. We've committed to that. And we're going to get more into that in just a moment. But Justin has something to say.
No, I was going to ask, would you listen to a musical podcast?
No.
Okay.
I've watched.
If you don't understand what that question was in reference to, then you need to get here earlier and watch some of the pre-roll.
That's right. Because that's where the juice happens.
That's right. I also love how we've already confounded probably one of our longest running fans. Seth goes, I sat in Twitch for so long wondering, hey, where are they?
Yeah.
And he said, I should have known better.
Wait. So we've got Seth in the chat, and there's also Slotty Bart Fast who says, hey, who's this jackass in the chat above me?
Guys, we are getting meta in YouTube today.
That's right.
Shit.
It's amazing. So this is pretty exciting for us because we've decided to put our eggs in the YouTube basket. Twitch was fine. It worked out. It was great. We started a community there, but we've decided that we want to hop on that YouTube train, and for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of our content already lives here. So we post our episodes here. We post some other segments like Ask Practical Doug. Doug watches awkward videos. Justin plays video games. We've got our YouTube shorts there, which, by the way, for us, have done pretty well. It's been pretty exciting. We've gotten some traction there. We're going to start taking out or splicing down the throwdowns and making playlists for just those. So if you want to catch those, that's totally cool. And as well as some other stuff that we want to create. And we're like, why? We just want to put it all in one place. So we've hitched our wagon to YouTube. So what I would like to say to all of you out there is, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, do us a huge favor. Click on the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/c/mindgappodcast. Hit the subscribe button. If you like one of our videos, hit the like button. It seriously means the world to us right now as we're on our path to monetizing. Watch hours and likes and subs matter a ton right now.
Yes.
And we've, in a short amount of time, have, quadrupled what originally existed because we didn't do much here. And now we're actually starting to see some traction. And it's exciting. Again, it's not earth-shattering to the average person, but for us, it's a pretty big deal. And we're like,
when you don't have a lot, it's when you quadruple like 7, it's great. Or when you quadruple 20, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When you don't have a lot, a little goes a very long way.
Yes. It's super exciting, and it's great, and I'm excited to just grow our stuff here. So, we're on top of that. support, if you do want to support us even more, we have started a Patreon, which is very exciting. It's patreon.com/mindgappodcast. Link down in the description. Boy, that's going to get weird to say. But everything you need is in the description of our YouTube videos. You want to follow us, our link trees, all that sort of stuff. Our socials are all down there. But big thing is we've started our Patreon, and we have 3 patrons already, which is amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful
amazing
supporters.
And the big thing about that is there's one tier. It's $5, $5 a month if you want to support us. First of all, it's just a way for us to. We did get some revenue from Twitch. Since we're moving away from that, we're going to try and substitute, what we were earning, hopefully with Patreon, to sort of like fund podcast costs and potentially fund other projects that we want to pursue. So part of that includes getting early access to our content, getting a special access to a special channel in our Discord, and some other cool things. And we're going to do some even cooler stuff down the road where it's just going to be subscriber-only stuff. We haven't figured it all out yet. But if you feel like, supporting the podcast, Patreon, head over there and subscribe. It's $5. Just that's the only thing it's going to be. And we are eternally grateful for anyone who wants to do that. But, if I could just be vulnerable for a moment, I've always looked at the podcast as something that's just a hobby. And I never really gave it the oomph and the credit that deserved, because I was afraid that if I leaned into it and tried really hard, then it failed, then it would be disappointing. And I've just decided now that I really enjoy doing this stuff. I really enjoy making the content. I've really enjoyed streaming the video game streams. And just, I'm proud of what we've done. This is our 326th episode. And that means like we have so much content, and part of this to me is there's a sea of content out there. There is a cacophony of options. We've talked about it with streaming services, right? How much content exists in the digital world. We are just one of a bajillion things you could choose from. But I'm also proud of a lot of our content, and seeing some people sort of subscribe to us and stuff, and I'm like, we have a backlog of content, and if someone really wants to go take a gander and they enjoy it, that's awesome. It's just another way just for us to break through and meet more people.
There have been a few people who have been bold enough to take on that challenge, namely Haig and Jared.
Yes.
They jumped on board when they became fans. They were like, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to blitzkrieg this. And those two, I can't speak for anyone else. I know those two for sure have gone back and they have each listened to every single episode. So if you want to join the elite ranks of the Haig and Jareds, you can do that if you want. It's there for you. And the other thing with Patreon is if you're on the fence and you're thinking about, well, I like what they do, but I don't know if $5, is it worth the value? Totally understandable, 100%. If there is something that you think would be more valuable or more worthwhile, hey, if they added this thing, I would totally subscribe. Let us know. We're always open to how can we make this better. And at the end of the day, we're doing this because it's fun for us, number one. And number two, we just want to make you giggle and laugh and have a good time and feel good. This is entertainment for you. We're hoping that this, if you're feeling down, you put this on, you're like, oh, I just heard two nerds debate some stupid nerdy shit, and now I feel better. So, if there's something that will make you enjoy this even more and want to, jump into that Patreon thing, let us know.
Absolutely.
We're open to any and all suggestions. This is an open dialogue. It's a two-way street.
And honestly, I think the thing that makes me happiest is the community that we've built thus far. I mean, the fact that we've got Jared, Haig, we've got Zenny, we've got Wolfslore, we've got Noah, we've got Alpaca, we've got the list just goes on. Slotty. Like I can't think. I feel like I'm at an awards ceremony and I'm forgetting people's names. Like we've accumulated Sirloin, like just
Rolo,
lots.
Yeah.
Rolo, Buzz, like we've met so many people and we've slowly accumulated this amazing community. And
Richie,
Jesus, from You Haven't Heard This Music podcast. It's just been so much fun to connect. My favorite
person in England, by the way.
Of course. Well, until you meet Rolo and Buzz, and then it's on.
I'm going to have an existential crisis when that happens.
But honestly, like from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for just all of your support. If you've listened, if you've watched, if you've shared, if you've subscribed, if you've given bits over on Twitch. I mean, the fact that we have so many Ask Practical Doug suggestions, which is amazing. And by the way, probably going to be resurrecting Doug Watches Awkward Videos. So I'm nervous to open up the channel for suggestions on that. Oh, God. Because I'm sure that'll be a treat. Essentially, that's going to be me watching awkward videos, and we're going to be putting that out as its own separate playlist. We've got something we're going to try out with Justin watching anime out of context. Should be a real treat.
Is that the name of it? Anime out of context?
I don't know. We're just kicking around ideas, but essentially we're going to show Justin a snippet of anime without any context whatsoever, and he has to try and make heads or tails of what the hell's going on. And if you've ever watched anime, it's weird shit. So,
and the draw to that is that I know zero about anime, so it's not like I'm coming into this going, "Oh, I've heard of this one," or "I think I remember seeing this one time." That'll never happen.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. So we've got a lot of cool stuff, and we also are kicking around some other ideas. Some things more narrative or just other things. It's I don't know. We're just thrilled. We're excited. I'm motivated. And I really want to throw everything I have at this right now. So if you are here, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you've subscribed, if you've liked, if you've shared, if you've donated, to all of you, thank you. This has been exciting, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to be doing moving ahead.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, we are going to be making some changes to our release schedule. We'll probably get more into that later, but just know, like, come January of 2022, we're going to be changing things up a little bit. We'll still, do our streams on the regular days, but you may see a slight change in the release schedule for the audio portion and things like that. But rest assured, you're still going to be getting weekly stuff. So it's all there for you. So, yeah.
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 Well, Zinni now, Patreon. Thank you, Zinni.
All Zinni wants is a little keychain. So
hey, we can make that. That's the other thing too. In these early days of all this, you let us know. If you want something special just for you, maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Rypash, welcome, sir. Another great human, very funny human being, also wonderful DM, great person. Thanks for joining. Good to see you, pal. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Speaking of great DMs, Matt Mercer just entered the chat, Doug.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. What's up, Matt Mercer?
Anyone listening to this is like, oh, my God, did he? So
yeah.
just go along
he just said, how do you want to do this?
Yeah.
What's up, Eric? Welcome. Big hearts to you. Big hearts to you, my friend. So that goes to say, if you're listening and you're curious and you want to get in on this, check us out live on YouTube. That's youtube.com/c/MindGapPodcast. We go live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. We go live on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Tuesdays are live for the podcast. Saturdays are live for the video game stream that I host, which is always a real treat. It's a variety stream, usually a different game every week. So super, super fun. Super, super fun time. So please check us out there. As well as our Discord server. If you want to join the community, link is in the description below. Just click on that link, head on over. You can hang out with us. You can submit ideas for throwdowns. You can submit Ask Practical Doug questions. You can find people to game with. It's a great little community. Head on over there. We'd love to have you. Also, check out our merch on Redbubble. Just head to redbubble.com, enter MindGap Podcast in the search bar. You'll have access to our whole arsenal of stuff over there if you want to pick up your stuff for you. I want to go ahead and right now do Patreon shout-outs to our 3 patrons that we have right now. The first one out of the gate, Mr. Wolf's Lore, giving us that Patreon sub right away. Thank you, Wolf. Thank you for being a subscriber. Second, Jared Urbis, all the way from Down Under. Thank you, Jared, for being a Patreon subscriber. We appreciate you. And last but not least, Richie Armour, all the way from the UK, one of the hosts, the heart and soul of the You Haven't Heard This Music podcast. Thank you, Richie, for supporting us. We appreciate you and everything we do. So, after that love fest, I love you all. Thank you all for hanging out with us. You're the goddamn best. Let's talk about some cool stuff in the news. In particular, some Daredevil news.
Oh God, I got so my butthole clenched up, and I was like, "What?" I thought for sure they were making an official big announcement, but I'll take this.
Yes.
I'll 100% take this.
Yes. The news is the Marvel boss confirms Charlie Cox will return as Daredevil, which is super duper exciting. I loved the Daredevil series on Netflix. I love Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and when kind of all that stuff happened on Netflix, and it Marvel, I don't know, there's like Marvel and Netflix weren't really seeing eye to eye, and the series were kind of left to die. It's fine with Iron Fist. I don't mind that one was left to die, but
I think part of it too is not just that they weren't seeing eye to eye, but Disney was behind the scenes. They were, they had the cloak pulled, and they were tinkering and getting the gears all in place to start Disney Plus. So I don't think they had any interest in letting Netflix continue with these series. I think it was purposefully letting them die in the vine.
Of course, because they wanted them to come back over to Disney Plus and things like that. And Daredevil was, the flagship, sort of Marvel TV show on Netflix, and it was phenomenal. Like, to this day, it's like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's so good. Kind of talking about some stuff we've the stakes are just different in that show. Like, you go from Thanos is snapping to what's going on at Hell's Kitchen in New York.
Right.
And what's this guy who's blind but can really see, doing, in this, and it was amazing. It was so good. Yeah. And you had Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, phenomenal, and just, I don't know, so good. They had some amazing fight sequences and tracking shots. Like, it was just so compelling. Yeah. And season 3 was excellent. And then I was like, what's going to happen? And I think it was just universally, everyone was like, what are y'all doing with Daredevil?
Right.
What about my boy Charlie Cox? What's going to happen? And everyone was like, when are you going to work him in? Because I always thought it would be cool for like Infinity War or something, because we never really got the Defenders incorporated into the greater MCU, which is fine. You don't need to. But considering what ended up happening in Endgame,
right,
where if you have M'Baku showing up to smash people with a club, Daredevil could have been there. Luke Cage could have been there, like.
I was wondering, because I'm like, well, do we really want to put Daredevil in with some of those people who are, these space aliens? Could he hold his own? Because he's the devil of Hell's Kitchen. He's very much he's got heightened senses, but that's about all he's got. Then you put it to the M'Baku is there, and there were some muggles, as we'll say,
sure,
regular people fighting in the fray. So
I'd say if Wasp is there,
right,
Daredevil can be there.
If Peter Quill is there, yeah. So we can,
let's face it. If Drax is there from the MCU, Daredevil can be there.
Daredevil can be there. Yeah, I think that the thing that really took me with the series was just how gritty it got.
Yeah.
It got dark real quick, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This is the adult version of the MCU."
Yeah.
And it got real dark, real gritty, and real. Like, it showed true pain, and not that the movies didn't, but the movies you definitely were appealing to a much broader audience, and I think they got to kind of crack their knuckles and spread their wings a little bit and say, okay, well, what can we do with this Netflix series that we weren't able to do in the films? And I think they did really well with it.
Yeah, and I think that you had more room to breathe, in 3 seasons of this. You got to explore this character, and I don't know, I've always enjoyed that's kind of what I liked about Spider-Man in a lot of ways, is how do you balance your real life with your superhero life, right? Like, Charlie, Daredevil is compelled to help people, He wants to help people, and he's just willing to take a beating to do it. He's just, I don't know, there's something very interesting about him. And then going and trying to also do law, and like, can he balance both? It's like, you really can't. Like, just going out at night, and then, I get tired when I stay up until like 11 o'clock and I have to get up at 5 in the morning to work out. I can't imagine staying up all night fighting stuff, and then like getting the shit kicked out of you, and then waking up to be a lawyer.
Right.
Like, what?
trying to sit there and in court with a big shiner.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I fell down some stairs.
Exactly. I ran into the wall. I'm sorry. No, I think too, you're making moral compromises, right? Like that was what, I'm blanking on his buddy's name. What was his buddy's name?
Oh crap. It's, I realize that everyone can see what I just turned to. There we go. Whoops. My bad.
What'd you turn to?
I just turned to the old dashboard of YouTube. No big deal.
Oh, there we go. I can't even remember his name.
Oh yeah. He had a weird name. I can't remember what it was.
Happy?
No, it wasn't Happy, but it's something like
Swami, Samsonite.
Slappy.
That's the one.
Slappy.
So, Slappy told him that, that's one of the things he was pissed off about. Is like, well, so you're basically judge, jury, like you're taking the law into your own hands, and that's what we're here to try to uphold the law, and you're going out and we would normally prosecute someone like you. And so you have to start making these foggy. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolf.
Thank you, Wolf. You've got to start making these compromises if you're going to lead a double life like that. And how do you do that and still maintain, uphold law and order? And I just don't think there's no possible way. So in and of itself right there, that character makes for a wonderful, it's got wonderful conflict built right in.
Well, there's obviously a connection for us too there, that we can make. It's like you're living in two worlds, right? You got your day job,
right,
and then you got what you want to do. How can they both coexist? Because Captain America, he's living his full superhero life.
He's in it all the way.
He's dedicated to it, right?
He's committed. He's like a Harris Heller or a Casey Neistat.
Exactly. They're in it all the way. They don't dip their feet in both worlds. They don't have to. They're in it, man. They've committed. Right. And you're watching Daredevil being like, oh, man, you got to pick one. But which one do you want him to pick?
Commit, man. Well, as we found out from Winter and
Soldier Land.
Oh my God! From that one, with Falcon and the Winter guy.
Yeah.
Obviously it doesn't pay my mind.
You mean Falcon and Santa?
Sure, that's the one. Being a hero doesn't pay well. So, I mean, you got to be a lawyer to pay the bills.
You know what? Practical Doug loved that comment. That just what is this? What's health insurance like for these guys?
Right.
They're independent contractors, I guess. Like, I don't know. Have you watched Hawkeye at all?
Yeah.
That's the same thing where Clint is he takes his family out for Chinese, and they're like, oh no, don't, you save New York, we don't have to pay. And he's like, you really don't have to do that. They're like, no, it's on us. It's like, what sort of perks come along with that?
Inexplicably though, he's taking his family on his 3 kids on a trip to New York. They're staying in this beautiful hotel suite. I'm like, where is he getting his money?
Listen, he's obviously a retired SHIELD agent. That's a big difference.
Oh, he's getting a pension from SHIELD. Is
absolutely, yes.
Got it. See, that's why you got to join the system, and you got to get your name in.
Government jobs have the best pensions. That's the takeaway from this.
That's
if there's one thing your dad taught you, it was get a pension.
That's right.
I
was always wondering what I was going to finally take away from the MCU, and it's that.
Get a pension.
Get a pension.
We did a bit about that years ago. Like, what's SHIELD HR like? What's
God, yes.
What's that has to exist in a world like that. I mean, it starts getting into Doug's Zootopia like insanity, where if you have someone like a Luke Cage that is a lower level, sort of a character, but has extraordinary abilities. Because in the comics, he starts a Heroes for Hire, with Iron Fist and things like that. What do those guys do? What services can they offer? And Earth is lousy with superheroes. I mean, in the comics, you got X-Men, you've got, God, just countless superheroes. Like, I think that's what makes Earth so amazing in that comic book world, is that no other planet has this concentration of like superpowers. And in a world that's just lousy with that, like, what do you do? Like, there's a whole new market and business that opens up where here you are just offering your services. You have these special abilities. It could be the most mundane thing ever. It's like, oh, you have telekinesis. You're a moving company, right? Because it's the easiest thing in the world just to go, you're just moving shit for people, right? Same thing with super strength. You're just like, cool, I'll help you move, just chuck your shit like,
Or you become a contractor and you're construction.
Oh yeah,
you're demoing stuff. You're moving rocks in a quarry. There's You're a day laborer.
Yeah. Slightly Bartfast says, how did Kevin McAllister's dad afford that crazy house and a vacation to Paris for like 16 people? What was that guy's job? I saw someone post about that recently where you're like, seriously, the hell was that guy doing?
I would argue maybe it was Mrs. McAllister who was making the green.
She did seem like she was, some sort of business oriented. She didn't seem like she was necessarily a stay-at-home mom.
But we never covered what they actually did they?
No.
You know what? The same way you don't like musicals, I no longer like that movie because it leaves itself open to too many questions.
It's funny because Natalie watched that last year and she really enjoyed it, and I kind of want to make that a tradition where we watch that every year. It was kind of fun to watch it again.
Did you have any, not to pivot completely, but
I don't mind.
Did you?
Welcome to Mind Gap.
Did you? Did you have any? It wasn't until I was older that I started to have kind of a realization. I'm like, he is straight up like torturing these individuals. Like what he's doing is sadistic.
Yeah.
Did you have any worry or consideration showing Natalie this, that she wouldn't be able to separate the two? Like you can't smash someone in the face with the paint can and they'll walk away from it.
I think at the time it was enjoyable as a child because it's the kid is in power, right? Because as a child you're told what to do all the time, and you just kind of sometimes it was like empowering as a child to be like, yeah, get those adults, even though at the end he still relies on an old man with a shovel to save his life.
As we all do.
Right. But as an adult, no, I think it was fun just because it was just something. I just kind of like enjoy showing Natalie stuff and seeing her reaction to it, right? Like showing her Ghostbusters for the first time. I was like, oh, she's probably too young for this, but fuck it.
Did you? So you showed it to her?
Yeah, she loved it.
Did she like it?
Yeah. Because awesome. I told her, I was like, listen, there's probably going to be some scary parts in here, and if it gets scary, you just let me know, we'll shut it off. Especially like those demon dogs and whatever. I'm like, she's going to get scared.
What did you think of the ghost giving Dan Aykroyd a
yeah, well, we just kind of, I was like, yeah, we'll just let that happen. I'm not really going to talk about that too much. Sure. I'm like, we're good. Although I got to say, Nat recently has been asking both Jill and I where babies come from.
Well, getting ready to have that talk soon.
Yeah, and already explaining how it works, know? Yeah.
So, again, Ghostbusters could prove to be a very educational movie when the time is right.
Exactly. When you're overworked and you haven't gotten laid in a while, you have dreams.
Who are you going to call?
The ghost of a prostitute. No, but like I've enjoyed like just sort of, and I cannot wait to show her more stuff. I just cannot wait. And it's so funny because she came in my office the other day and like I was just on YouTube and there was just like a video of the show Arcane, like some sort of thing. She goes, "Oh, Dad, it's that show," because she watched almost the full 3 episodes. She had to stop like the last 10 minutes of the 3rd episode. She got really scared. And after that, I realized this is not for kids. Right. So, but she always sees it and she's like, "Oh, Dad, can we watch that?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry." She goes, "Why?" I go, "Listen, I didn't realize this, but that was not for kids." And she goes, "Oh, Dad." I'm like, "I know. I'm not happy about it either." Okay. Cause I go, I want to watch this with you. This is an awesome show. And she's asking me questions about one of the characters. And it's like, cause for her, everything is just in simplest terms of good or bad. I'm like,
right. It's
complicated. She goes, why is everything complicated? I go, cause it makes a better story. That's why.
Why is everything complicated?
It's just, geez, man, it's totally cool. It's chill. It's awesome. It's so much fun. I was like, I don't want to, because it's too easy to go down the rabbit hole. Speaking of, I told you this, the other day, but we were getting ready for bed, and Natalie's like, "I don't want to go to bed." I was like, "Why?" Yes. She's like, "It makes me sad." I'm like, "What makes you sad?" She's like, "Well, it just takes so long before I have to wake up." I'm like, "What are you talking about? When you sleep, it's like instantaneous."
Sure.
I go, "You wake up right away." She goes, "Yeah, that's true." I go, "It's kind of like time travel." And she goes, "Dad, what's time travel?" And I just had this glorious moment where I was like, how much time we have? Like, what do you... I was literally like, can I simplify this? I was like, no, I can't simplify this.
Just straight, no.
I was like, I took a deep breath and I go, we're gonna have to talk about that when you're older. She goes, why? Why do we always have to wait? I go, this is complicated. She goes, you've explained complicated stuff to me before. I'm like,
God damn it, she's good.
Even Dad is struggling with how to cover this because it's all theoretical, and you don't even know what theoretical means. I go, besides, I don't have my wall of a whiteboard to really draw this out. So
you're like, I'm gonna need a whiteboard, and we're gonna need to get Justin over here.
It's like, Jill, give me the whiteboard. She finally asked.
Put on a pot of coffee.
We're going for it.
You don't drink coffee. I want to smell it.
I need to smell it
for it.
We need to go for this because I cannot wait.
That was you had to have had like the tingle in your stomach when that happened.
She's just so curious these days,
cool.
and I keep telling her, I go, keep being curious, keep asking questions,
right?
Because she'll ask, a question, and I go, I'll think about it, I'll give her an answer. She goes, I'm sorry, Dad, I'm just curious. I'm like, I don't. Be curious.
Never apologize for
Ask
that.
questions. I go, I may not have the answer, and I may not have the answer that you like, but I'll do my best to answer, Keep asking questions. I don't care. I want to have that conversation forever,
That is so cool. What, if you had to distill it down, if she brought it up again and she's like, Dad, I demand an answer, how would you distill down the concept of time travel for a 5? She's 6? 5.
She's 5, almost 6.
5.
Oh, that's tough. That's so tough. It was hard trying to explain what a funeral was,
It's one of those I think we talked about this. I don't know if it was on the podcast or off, but there are some things conceptually that you just, again, but when you have to stop and go and explain what it is, why it happens, who's there, like just the whole idea around this thing, it's just not something you ever have to do. Very, very difficult to explain a funeral.
I was just telling Jill today, I was like, I don't envy kindergarten and first grade teachers because you're teaching kids to read, like the concept of a letter and the sound that it makes. And this poor kid,
intense, man.
This poor kid is like, today she goes, Dad, the word car, you don't really hear the A in there. It's not. It's just car. It's not care. I was like,
if you're from the right part of the country.
I was like, if you car, again the car, and I was like, you're right, and I hate to break this to you, language is littered with inconsistencies like that.
Just wait till you get to pterodactyl.
Oh my God! Like today, what was it? Jill said some word. Oh yeah, Natalie was just going through Jill's books, and she was just looking for words, sight words, and everything that she saw, and she got to jalapeno. And Jill's like, how do you think you say that? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, jalapeno. She goes, but it starts with a J. She goes, yep.
Welcome to the world, baby.
It's full of stuff like that, and it's super, like, I feel bad because I'm like, because trying to learn all this stuff, I just know it. Or adding the idea, concept of numbers.
I still don't get it.
And how to you have this one and you have this one and you put it together and it's something different altogether, Nope. Like it's unbelievable. And just the idea of that's your foundation for things. And I'm sitting there just going, I hope you pick it up because I can't help you with this. And there won't be a whole lot I can help you with. I mean, conceptual stuff I can help with. Like if you want to help on an idea for a paper, or you want me to edit something for you, I'm happy to do that. Or if we want to talk about history and I can call out bullshit on history, and different things like that. Although I don't think it'll be too bad where we are. Although I did see an article today that the north side of town, the school in the north side of town, apparently some parents over there have been rabble-rousing about a particular graphic novel that exists.
Really?
And they're protesting it, and they're saying that it should be banned.
What graphic novel are they getting their pants in a bunch about?
Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. It's let me pull this up.
I don't even sorry, I'm reading the chat. I almost said pterodactyl.
Oh yes, the pterodactyl.
The pterodactyl.
Let's see,
Mr.
here.
Dactyl? Pterodactyl?
So yeah, hundreds. So demanded the book. It's called Gender Queer be removed from library shelves, but students asked the board to keep it. Yeah, they're basically saying it's pornography. It's come under attack from larger conservative movements. Some critics have claimed children were being exposed to homoerotic or pornographic language and images. Genderqueer is an autobiography about author Maya Kobabe's journey of gender identity as a teenager and a young adult. A few pages that include illustrations of sexual acts have drawn the bulk of the ire, while other students, parents, and community members see the book as a vital tool for youth discovering their identity and any efforts to ban it as censorship.
Interesting.
And to that, I would argue to anyone in the room is my first question would be, do your kids have cell phones?
Right.
If they do,
right.
They already know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't... I think graphic novels are the least of our concern at this point.
Yeah.
You know? And also, what are you so concerned about? Because think back to when you were a kid and what you knew.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me you don't think your kids know stuff already? Know about things? They know.
Dude, the shit I knew in fourth grade. Like,
I'm saying, man. And we had we had nowhere near the resources that kids today have. I think kids get such a bad rap for being either dumb or innocent or they just don't get it. And I'm like, I think adults have straight up forgotten how fucking intuitive kids are.
Oh, they
kids
know
shit. They pick up on shit, man.
I remember.
Also, you shouldn't be scared to let them learn shit.
I remember. This is because I grew up in rural Missouri where everyone is fucking gross. But I remember a kid coming to school saying how he watched a porno in fourth grade with like his older brother or something had one. He talked about how there was a scene where a guy basically, jizzed on a girl's like stomach and she like picked it up and ate it. I was in fourth grade. I was like, what?
What? Yeah.
I was like, huh? I remember having just like these stupid in fifth grade walk around the playground with other people being like, why is fuck a bad word? Like, they're just words. Like having what I thought was this deep philosophical moment of like,
love it.
They're just words. Like, why are they bad? Like, why can't we just say them? And just days on end, like just sitting there thinking and considering like, they're just words, man. What does it all mean? And I mean, I look at that, it's like, yeah, I mean, would I want a fourth grader learning about, apparently there's something about using a strap on in this book? No. But a high schooler, are they watching R-rated movies?
Right.
Probably. Like, what's the right age? 19? Is a 19-year-old good to go? It's like just these...
well, yeah, and I guess that's the thing, too, is like what... I understand there's got to be some separation between, like, hardcore penetrating sex in... Like, we probably don't want to show that in school. Sure.
Yeah.
But at what point do you draw the line from educating and exposing people to an idea or some, just exposing them to something beyond what they're used to seeing or hearing about, and then, stuff that is, I guess, explicit or illicit or whatever. Like, the line is very blurry, but I think we can't coddle kids. I'm not saying we should show them full hardcore porn, but at the same time, coddling kids also doesn't help anything because they're going to seek it out, man.
They're going to find it.
Say, I found the magazines, in my grandfather. I found them. I saw them. I knew they were there. I rooted around. I found them.
Dude, the first thing I did when I got dial-up internet back in the day is I went to playboy.com.
Exactly.
Followed by hustler.com. Followed by penthouse.com. Like, I went there. And they didn't load because I had, I don't know, not even a 56K modem at the time. I think I had a 1200-bit modem, so nothing loaded. But that's the first place I went to, and I was in junior high,
right?
Maybe sixth grade. That's the first thing I went to because I was curious. Because this is also the same time where I was, going to the, bookstores or whatever with my mom and reaching over like I told before, grabbing them and pretending to read Home and Garden, but I was really looking at Penthouse.
Sure, absolutely. Kids are curious, man. Young people are curious. The thing is, too, would you rather have them going and exploring it on their own and potentially getting the wrong information, seeing the hardcore porn and seeing the unrealistic versions of what, that's not how it happens. That's not real. Or would you rather have it in a controlled environment where you could say, hey, look, let's really educate ourselves on what's going on, what's available what are some things that you'll encounter, what's some things you might like, you might not like. There is a safe, controlled way to do that, and you can find there's a line there that you can ride for sure. And I think it's ridiculous that they're. Look, I don't know what's in this book. You know, maybe it is completely crazy and absurd. I would be inclined to bet that it's not crazy and absurd. But, you know, I think people, we've talked about this before. People in this country just have such a, they're such prudes when it comes to anything related to the body or sex or anything like that. It is so prudish.
Yeah, it's funny because I have that natural reaction. Like, I'll listen to other podcasts and I'll hear just, like, I was just listening to Two Bears, One Cave the other day, and Bert's like, yeah, I jerked off this morning. I'm like, dude, he's just saying that.
Right.
He's just admitting that he masturbated earlier in the day. I'm like, what? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, we're all doing it. Someone's literally doing it right now. Right. Not like in our presence, but out there. Someone's just, you know, it's happening.
Looking at you, Slotty.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah. It's cool. You're welcome.
You notice how Jared isn't in the chat? What do you think he's doing?
Right? He's at work, taking care of business, you know?
TCB, as the Aussies do.
Yep. Give himself the good old rootin' tootin' Tuesday.
That's right.
I'm super anti-censorship. I'm hardcore anti-censorship. Like, especially with stuff like this, I'm like, eat shit. Leave the book there. Go fuck yourself. Like, don't do stuff like that. Because where do you draw the line after that?
Again, yeah.
If you take a book out, it's like, then what? You know? And I'm like, it's a fucking book. The kid's got to read it. That's a challenge. And not only that, you're drawing more attention to it by doing this. Kids are going to seek it out now. There's only one copy between two schools of 5,000 kids. That book is going to get checked out like crazy. It's probably going to get purchased on Amazon. Like
that book is now gold.
And then my favorite part about that
book valuable.
My favorite part about that is, like, the kids were so nonplussed by it. One kid was like, I didn't know it existed until today. Like, just another person is like, it's weird that The Handmaid's Tale is no one's talking about that, you know, or, you know, Catcher in the Rye, where the character goes and sees a prostitute, you know, like, just it's just, you know, for this one, I think it's because people are they're all up their butts about trans rights and stuff like that. People are like, I don't like it, you know, whatever. They're just
it's the certain sect of the suburban, you know, that closed-mindedness that and we all know what happens in the certain areas, and it's just a bummer that that's happening on the north side of where you are. Yeah,
which is, to me, I'm like, because we were literally just talking today. I'm like, I fucking love our town. I love our community. Everyone's cool. To be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on the north side of town. I go, is it more conservative up there? So goes, I think so. I think it is. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, we're south side, so fuck you guys. Like,
you guys are hardcore down the south side.
Fuck off. I hate censorship, and also I go back to I honestly look forward to having these conversations with Natalie. I hope someday she goes, Dad, what's pornography? Like, I can't wait to have that conversation because I want to be real and honest with her and describe it, and I don't want to make it a taboo thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst thing you can do is make someone feel ashamed for that. But my first question would be like, are you watching anything with kids in it?
Right.
No? All right. Cool. That's good.
Why do we want to know? What's sparking the question?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I read an article years ago where, like, this woman was talking about she had this conversation with her daughter because her daughter came in because it was one of those pop-ups like that said basically like your phone's being monitored by the FBI. It was just like a pop-up or something, and she got really scared.
Click it. Yeah.
She came in, she goes, Mom, I was on a porn site and the thing said I'm in trouble. And her mom was like really calm about it. She's like, okay, were you watching anything with kids in it? She's like, no. And she's like, asked a couple of questions. She's like, all right, well, this is fine. And like they had a really good conversation about it. It wasn't like the ideal thing where the kid was like, hey, Mom, check out, I'm watching this like gangbang, you know, pretty cool stuff. What do you think? You know, but because what I want to explain to Natalie is that stuff is mostly performative. Although these days, there's so much more amateur stuff that's out there where people are just kind of doing whatever they're doing. But I would also say that amateur stuff is pretty performative too. Also, yes. But I just want to be like, listen, there's different strokes for different folks. Pun intended.
Literally.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you understand that this isn't necessarily how it's going to go. This is catering to a certain feeling or need that people are like, or a kink that they have, and everything's fine. But please don't take this as what you expect sex to be, because a lot of this is not accurate. It's just
exactly, or what is expected of you in this situation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, like it's a situation where, if anything, to a certain level, it's pretty educational, right? Because one, it's double-sided. Because one, you can find out what arouses you, which is good. Like, oh, what do I like? But also, it's like you got to be careful, because you could just go down a terrible rabbit hole of ever consuming like, this is all I need, and it can desensitize you. So 100%,
yeah,
which is dangerous. I don't know what it's like for women. I tell you from a man's perspective, a little bit of that goes a long way, and you don't need a whole lot, because that gets to be a real monkey on your back.
Yeah, well, like it's like any vice, like the more that you do, the more you have to do to feel the same thing, and it's no different than any other thing that you imbibe in.
Yeah,
be it drugs or alcohol or anything.
Yeah,
really, it's the same kind of thing where you do it in moderation, do it responsibly, and use it for how you need to use it, but don't let it run your life. Like anything, don't let anything run your life.
Noah says Vice City. That's right.
There you go.
I remember, it's funny because I'm like, I'm glad I didn't grow up with that access to the porn. I did have access to porn, but it was on an older computer and with much slower internet. That was when I had 56K bit, modem internet. Yeah. But I remember particularly because I looked at a lot of photos, because videos just were endlessly buffering back then. It was just a real tough way to get what you needed. But I remember looking at a lot of photos, and I heard my mom coming upstairs to the room, and I was like, oh God, what do I do? And I just like, as soon as she walked in, I just pushed the button. And this is back where you just push the button and the computer turns off. I was like, sure. What's up, Mom? And she's like, what are you doing?
So you're just sitting here in front of an off
It's like nothing. She goes,
yeah.
If you're looking at stuff on there that you're not supposed to, then we'll just shut off the internet. I was like, I wasn't looking at anything. God. And I was like getting up, and by that point my boner had died. So, Tony Hobbs, does dial-up modem porn even count? Of course it does. First of all, welcome to the stream, Anthony Hobbs. It's good to have you, my friend. Good to see you. Of course it counts. Of course it counts. Everything counted within the relative time frame, right? Did magazines count? Absolutely they did, It's just nowadays
dial-up counts no more.
No more, yeah. But nowadays, like, that's the one thing if there's one thing I'm nervous for, it's getting Natalie a phone.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just because the unmitigated access to social media is the thing I'm most scared of for her.
For sure.
Terrified.
More so than anything. Yeah.
Just because I'm hoping we can have those kind of conversations where, like, listen, this is not real life. This is a facade of what people want you to think, of people seeking attention and people spouting their opinions. And I think I saw a tweet a couple weeks ago that says we were not meant to know the inner thoughts of everyone on the planet.
100%. It goes back to that 150 monkeys thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like we are supposed to be, we are hardwired to be in smaller packs and know each other there and migrate around with each other and then spend time. We are not supposed to be able to just randomly jump on and go, what's someone thinking in Germany today? And find endless amounts of thoughts and ideas. Like the access to ideas and things like that can be powerful, but it is just too much. It's too much for any one person to take in. The amount of information, I think that's what it is. I've noticed for myself, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, but I've noticed for myself how short my attention span has gotten. And I like to think that I'm old enough to, 38 years old, I'm old enough to logically tell myself, okay, you need to get off this now, you need to whatever. But if you've got someone who just gets it sucked into it, someone younger who's still developing, like, it can really, really be detrimental. Like, I find myself now in a 2-hour movie sitting there, and after about a half hour going, geez, how long have I been watching this? It used to be nothing for me to watch a movie.
I'm fine until I'm forced to do something I don't want to. Like, I don't know, a meeting at work, And I'm like, I'm just like, all of a sudden my hand starts wandering to the minimize button. I start going somewhere else. And I'm like, huh. Especially I'm like, this meeting does not pertain to me. I'm like, click. What's going on Twitch right now? You know, like just who can I lurk on right now? Who can I give a view to? Or, hey, can I play this? Can I play Monster Train right now? Because that doesn't involve the keyboard. I just click and play a deck building game during a meeting.
Yeah. Do you find yourself, because one of the things I noticed actually within the last few weeks is how I jump from task to task while working, and my productivity has gone down because I'm so used to with reels and with tweets and everything moving so quick. I can't focus for more than I'll be working on something, trying to like troubleshoot a problem, and in the middle of it, I'll abandon it and check Slack for no reason. There's no new messages that popped up, but I'll pop over to Slack and I just realized I just abandoned this thing that I was working on without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad with that as far as like, because there's so many distractions, right? It's like your phone, your personal email, your work email, Instagram, Twitter. You got, I don't know if I said Slack already or not, but then there's not Slack yet. And then my watch is buzzing because I got a text message, and it's
telling you to stand up, and then you've got
shit.
And
right. Like there is a lot of distractions. Like I appreciate the sort of like focused modes you can put on your phone and things like that, so you can just tune that shit out so that you're not constantly looking at it. I try really hard, but it is really easy for me to get distracted with stuff where all of a sudden I've been like, oh shit, I should be doing something else. I got completely, because what'll happen is I will go to like I need to do this. I go to a browser. I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't post the note about the podcast for tonight. I need to do that. And then before you know it, I'm doing like, oh wait, when's the YouTube video dropping today? Oh, when's that? And I just like I completely forgot what I was supposed to be doing, and I come back to it. I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Like I gotta fucking figure that out.
Yeah, that's the easiest. That's the same way it happens for me too. Is that you'll if it's not just mindlessly abandoning the task, it's that thing where you have too many thoughts piling on top, and you go to do the thing, which sparks another thought, and you check that midway through, and like you said, before you know it, 4 tasks later, you're like, oh shit, wait, what was I originally doing? And it just starts that cycle all over again.
It's so funny because I saw a funny tweet a while ago. It said like being adult is mostly you walking around your house muttering to yourself, why did I come in here? And I find myself like I'll come in and I'll open up the fridge and I was like, I came over here to get something out of here. What was it? And I can't remember what I mutter every time, and I'll say something like, I have some sort of like mantra that I do that I don't even realize that I'm doing it. I'm like trying to focus, like that helps me. It's like Ruxin in the league going dun it dun it dun it. He calls it Shark Ruxin, looking for some sort of litigation. Dun it dun it dun it dun it dun it. I'm doing the same thing, trying to be like, focus, say the thing, and then be like, I came in to get the chickpeas. That's why I got it. Like, you know, because I'm getting distracted even trying to do that. It's crazy. Yeah. Hobbs says, I can't pay attention to passive content at all anymore. What do you mean by that? Like, what kind of passive content? Just like a porn picture that doesn't do anything for you anymore? You gotta
or is he talking about like? Is he talking about like endlessly scrolling on like Twitter or Instagram? Yeah, like passive, like where you're not going there for an intent, just passively scrolling and passing the time.
Gotcha. That's
my assumption of what he's talking about, but that is something too where I've been trying to talk myself more out of. Like if I'm doing it, I keep every time I see a video that's like the same as like a trend or something. Like this is the 4th one that you've seen that's covering the same thing. This is telling myself this is boring. Get off of this, and trying to remember, almost like it jarring myself out of that like trance it puts you in order to close it. I'm trying to break that for myself.
Yeah. Noah says Slack? Nah. My work group chats span 3 individual text chains and 8 Facebook Messenger groups and about 30 email chains. Gross.
Woof.
I fucking hate email chains. That is like my new pet peeve. I'm like, can we?
Is it?
Because especially when it comes back with like a 1-sentence response. I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
This is so obnoxious. Just fucking instant message it, man. It's absurd. It's crazy. Hobbs says he has to be interacting with it. I just can't sit back and watch a movie or TV show. Oh, that sucks.
That's interesting. So
By the way, you should check out Arcane on Netflix. It's really good. You should do that. That is not passive. It'll get you going.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So that's opposite of what he was talking about. So he actually has to be like interacting with the Instagram or with the whatever.
B says reply all is going to end humanity. I will end humanity. I will set off a nuke over reply all. Fucking reply all. The rage I have gotten when people reply all, and I was like, do you realize that everyone on this fucking chain, because what'll happen is, this was at my last job, this drove me up the fucking wall. I would get so mad. You'd hear me just go, ah, for my office, because someone would send something to a distribution chain, and one person, Noah says, I only reply all. Fuck you.
Good, though. We'll get back to that. Put a pin in that, Doug. What were you going to say? Because I want to talk about that.
One person, it would be something like, hey, everybody, welcome this person to the team. And it's a distribution list of like 60 people. And one person would write, hey, welcome. And then everyone else would be like, I think they feel like, oh, we all have to say welcome. So then the next person would say welcome. And then the next person, and it was just this endless string of, welcome. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I would just mute it. I'm like, mute that shit. Like, this is absurd. Why would you just absolutely avalanche someone's inbox just to say welcome? If I'm the one who's like, oh, Doug's new to the team, everyone say hi. And I just got a whole bunch of people that are like, hi. I'm like, fuck you all. Like, because then what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to reply to each individual one and say thanks, or do I reply all?
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
It's such a waste of time and effort. It's like, eat shit. Stop it.
You know what you can do if that happens to you? You just reply all and ask to be removed from the distribution list.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe, yeah. And then everyone else will follow suit. And then after a while, you can then reply all again and say, I thought I asked to be removed from this distribution list.
So B just said that exact same thing. The worst is when someone replies alls and requests to be removed from the chain, and then everyone reply all requests to be out of it.
Boom. Do we know B?
Yes.
We do. Okay. I was going to say, is B someone from my work? Because that has happened many times at my work. And it is the worst.
Practical Doug is in the house, Anthony Hobbs.
Absolute worst.
Goddamn right. It's.
But I wanted to touch back on what Noah said, where he only replies all. How does everyone else get updated? I will say that when I put, and this is more for 2E8 stuff, when I'll send out an email, I'll put Drew on, or Drew will send out an email to someone. He'll CC me, so we're in this communication with either a client or with a vendor or something, and they don't reply all, and I'm left out of the. I don't know what's happening with updates. So when do you reply all? Like, what is your? Because for me, I'm the same as Noah. I don't know if he was joking or not, but I reply all the time. If people have CC'd someone on the email, in my mind, it's like, okay, they were put on there for a reason. They're gonna see. They're not gonna get left out of this communication. I'm gonna reply all and keep them looped in, because I've been on the receiving end of someone not replying all. And then Drew's like, oh, shoot, they didn't reply all. Let me send it to you. And it's been like 5 or 6 emails, and I've got to fucking catch up, and I've missed some important info or something I could have chimed in on, et cetera, et cetera.
B says reply all is a violation of the Geneva Convention.
Well, then I am a criminal at large.
I'll say this. Every message, I take into account who's on here. Who needs to know what's being communicated. And if everyone needs to know, then I reply all. However, if it's a situation where it's like, I just need to get Justin or Noah, I will do a reply to just you two from there to get additional information, or I'll fucking instant message you and be like, hey, by the way, real quick, what's going on with this? But I refuse to just constantly, unless I'm told, hey, this person just needs to be included. They may not respond, but they need to be informed. Okay. But I am super sensitive, probably to a fault, where I'm like, listen, I fucking hate the emails I get that I do not need to be on. It drives me up the fucking wall. So I'm like, hey, listen, just ask me. If there's something you didn't get, I'll tell you. Like, I'll fill you in. But I'm not going to be like, hey, what's the communication strategy on this? And 8 people get this, and it's like, then we're figuring it out over fucking email, and then it's like, I'm sorry, I'm just fucking sorry I put you all on this.
I will say that is one thing. I think email, a lot of people fundamentally use email incorrectly. To what Noah said,
100%.
He hates email as a medium. So I think if you need to hash something out or figure something out, that needs to be done either via phone or in a Slack group chat where things can happen in real time. Via email, if you're asking an opinion, if you're soliciting feedback about something or next steps in
Incorrect.
something, and you're doing, 8 people on there, because that's the thing. Because let's say person A responds, person B responds, but then person C responds to what person A said, leaving out person B's response. The email thread can start to spiral out of control very, very quickly. And now you're just playing catch up. I can't tell you how many times I've written an email replying all and gone, consolidating the information back into this, like, please use this one moving forward. And to have to do that is just a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah,
so
it's gross.
I think replying all is secondary to the primary issue, which is people need to use email correctly.
Yeah, no, I look at email as a formal documentation of something.
Yeah.
With enough information that it can't be easily transferred via instant message. Like, hey, everybody, here's the most recent draft of this e-learning that I put together. Please review it by end of day tomorrow. I would like, if you have any feedback on the design, like the way that it looks, please give that to me here. If you have any feedback on the script or the words, this goes here. If you have any questions, let me know.
Right.
That's it. That's not something I'm going to put out in Slack. But if it's a quick, like, hey, what's our communication strategy with this? I'll try to find the people and just pop that over to them real quick and see what's going on. That could also potentially be an email too. Like if it's like, hey, just, documenting this sort of stuff. Because I hate when one thing lives in email, another thing lives in Slack. Yes. And then this stuff is just everywhere. It's like, can we fucking consolidate this shit? Because when it comes to sharing files or like links to stuff, I'd rather that be an email as opposed to Slack. Where it's like, oh, wait, you sent this one to me in Slack, but this one was in the fucking email and I can't fucking find it. But anyway.
Every time you have to go, all right, where did I get that again?
Yeah, and I'll say this. Someone brought up, what about BCC? BCC, that's some espionage shit right there.
Oh,
that's
100%.
Actually, it could be sexy shit. Where you're like, hey, I'm BCCing this list because you guys are fucking morons. And I don't want anyone replying all. So here's the message. That's the equivalent of like, I'm going to tweet at you and I'm going to block you. Right. So you can't respond. Like
when I get a BCC, when I'm on a BCC, again, it's more in the espionage realm where they're like, I'm going to throw you in on this so you can see what's happening. There's that chaos part of me, the Justin that you love is like, what if I just replied all and said, hey, I'm here too. And just blew everybody. The cover.
Or just like
always want to do that.
Someone responds, you just write back, false.com. Here's the link,
Here's Snopes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck, you piece of shit. It's like, oh, I didn't know Justin was here. Yeah, BCC is like, I'm gonna put you on this, but you gotta sit there and be quiet and just watch, see what's happening. I'm letting you know that I'm laying stuff down, but they don't know that you're here. Like it's happening. That's some sneaky shit. Sliding in, sneaky shit.
So would you say that replying all is a practical thing to do or an unpractical thing to do?
It depends on the situation.
Okay. Well, since we're stretching our practical muscles.
Yeah.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask.
Who?
Practical.
Who?
Practical.
Who?
Practical.
Who?
Practical. Who? Practical.
Who?
Practical.
Who?
Practical.
Who?
Ask Practical Doug.
Oh, shit. We're asking Practical Doug.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We've got so many.
We have a metric shit ton, which is an official measurement of Ask Practical Doug's. So if you're new to this, Ask Practical Doug, there's a small person who lives inside the larger person in Doug, and it's called Practical Doug. This little slice of Doug's psyche is extraordinarily practical and loves to delve out advice. So if you have a question, you can either put it in the Discord. We have a special channel for Ask Practical Doug. You can tweet at us. at MindGap Podcast on pretty much any social media platform. Hashtag AskPracticalDoug. Or you can email us if you're lucky enough to have that, or text us if you're really good friends with us. Today's Ask Practical Doug comes from one of our favorites, Mr. Wolfslore. And Doug, this is right up your fucking alley. Which cookie packs the best flavor of Christmas? And how would you break Christmas into a flavor? I need to know how to best spend my money this season to best taste Christmas in cookie form.
I love
Practical
this.
Doug.
I love this question because this originally was a very simple question from Zenny, which was, what is your favorite holiday cookie flavor? And Wolf goes, this is Practical Doug. So the better question, and he said that, he's like, yeah, he goes, yeah. She goes, so I needed to detail the question practically. He goes, yes. Otherwise, you could just ask regular Doug.
Exactly. It's got to be a practical ask.
Yeah. So
if you want to pull out Ask Practical.
Yeah,
Doug.
if you want to pull out Ask Practical Doug, it's get to something that it's more than just like what's his opinion. It's like I need to know which cookie packs the most Christmas flavor.
Right.
And I thought about this. I'm thinking about the flavors of Christmas, and I had kind of a snarky response in Discord, which was Christmas is an equation which includes nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon, peppermint, a dash of guilt, a gallon of capitalism, and half a cup of family grudge match. So
that's tasty.
But then I just basically was like, so gingerbread cookie. Because a gingerbread cookie is very seasonal. It gets in a lot of those flavors, right? There's that ginger, there's some cinnamon, there's some sweetness to it, and it's something that you think gingerbread houses. The frustration of building one, it's a mess. They don't. Wolf said, no, it was get confused. Everyone changes their names in the Discord over Christmas. Jingle My Bells, aka Jared, said, that's fair. My family once had a shouting match over gingerbread. Exactly. And not only that, let's face it, Christmas, just like Thanksgiving, I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse for family drama, Christmas or Thanksgiving, but shit comes out, man. It does
come out. I have to say, stereotypically, I think Thanksgiving wins on that one. In a throwdown versus Thanksgiving and Christmas, as far as what brings out the worst in a family, I gotta say Thanksgiving.
It's challenging because Christmas also involves gifts, so there's an added layer. It could go either way. There's more chaos with that.
True. Because
if you give the wrong gift, don't give a gift, spend too much, spend too little, there's a lot more stress involved with that. Although Thanksgiving just seems loosey-goosey. We're all just sitting down for a meal, getting some beverages.
Like Vikings.
We're going to be gluttonous, and then...
And I think that's the thing where Christmas still has, even though it's got that the presents, the capital, there's still this like that kind of magical overtone of like, we're all friendly and lovey. There's something there's that layer of magic over Christmas that I think Thanksgiving is a little bit more raw, and I think that's why I think you're right. You're going to have family. Look, if your family is prone to drama, it's going to come out in both. So
agreed. And the thing is, they're only a month apart. So, I love that
really,
that scene from Scrubs where, Turk has explained to JD like how crazy his family is. He's like, I've got what is it? He's like, someone's yelling at my mom because she burnt the turkey and it's burnt black, and then my militant cousin whatever is saying you can't say black anymore and yelling at them for that, and then my aunt whatever is trying to put her head in the oven because she's having an episode, and you know what? We sit down, we have our meal, we say we love each other because in a month we're gonna do it again. Like just
that's it. Yeah. Well, it's true because if you go to war on Thanksgiving, it's all Christmases is just a rematch.
Yeah. And I would say that
waiting a month.
Christmas, there's a lot of like, this is for the kids. There's the religious aspect of it. There's some things that are like, for Jesus, we need to be in our best behavior. Okay. He's out front in the manger. I almost said the menagerie. It's the same thing. I get so uncomfortable when I walk by houses and they have a nativity scene. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, walk a little bit faster. I'm like, gross. No. Ugh.
There was one house that I walked by, and I was like, this nativity scene I can get on board with. They had, I can't remember specifically what it was, but they had like a cardboard cutout of somebody. They had like a Ninja Turtle. They had all these like oversized dolls out in the nativity scene, and I was like, yes, that I can get on board with because you get it. This is light trolling on a Christmas holiday.
Yeah, I can appreciate a good trolling.
Yeah.
On it. Real quick, a couple of other ones that were asked. Noah said, is chapstick worth it, or do you just buy a huge tub of Vaseline? Obviously, a huge tub of Vaseline. Go to Costco, get your Vaseline, problem solved. Next question. Let's see here. What's the best? B says, what's the best excuse to give to not see the family you hate over the holidays? Listen, this is it. Listen closely, B, because I'm going to give you a real inside scoop here. All right? Long time ago, we determined, my friend Jeff, who's no longer with us, gave me one great insight. You can only use it once. It only works once. Okay? So you have to use this card wisely. But if you want to get out of something, and you're willing to accept some humility here, you just calmly and politely say, I have explosive diarrhea. I'm unable to attend. Have a good day. That works for getting out of work. And if you can play that while you're telling them, also useful. Because if you're willing to say that, in most cases, people are like, huh, I mean, what do you say to that? Liar. You got to sell it. You can't be like, yeah, man, I got diarrhea. I can't make it tonight. But even then, some people are like, are you serious? It's like, yeah, just fiery shits coming out of my body. I can't make it. People are going to be like, oh, okay, man. See ya. Because people are like, I'm not feeling well, or like, oh, he's full of shit. Like, no, I am blowing it out right now.
You give them an undeniable, like, no one would admit that unless it was happening to them.
Like,
and
listen,
even then, they shouldn't be admitting it.
Listen, I'm going to level with you. All right, Justin, I can't make it to your wedding.
Oh, no. Why? What's going on? What's
Listen,
wrong?
It's just, I've just haven't really been feeling well.
Yeah?
Been sweating a lot. Listen, man, I have really bad diarrhea. I can't leave. Every 5 minutes, it's just pouring out of me.
Yeah.
I think whenever I wipe, it's mostly blood.
Oh no.
It's just.
Look, you get better, man.
I'm gonna try and walk my gift over to you guys at least and drop it off.
No.
I don't know, man.
You know what? Don't even worry about it.
I don't know, man.
It's okay. It's totally okay. We don't need it. That's fine.
Oh God.
You just. You okay? Oh no.
Hang up the phone. You're out. Problem solved.
I will say, honest to God, no joke. We did have someone at my work about 2-3 years ago use that excuse.
Yeah.
And they told us, I'm having diarrhea.
You can't compete. We can't. There's no response.
And you and I have talked about this for we've talked about this before. The first place my mind went was, oh my God, this is Doug's excuse. Like, this person used it, and 0 people called her into question. Her, yes.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm having diarrhea.
I'm having diarrhea.
It's like, because the thing too is everyone knows that's an awful situation. So they're going to empathize immediately and be like, all right, man, take it easy.
Yeah. And Ori goes, I'm shitting that day. I can't come. I'm shitting that day. Sorry.
That doesn't play as well.
Yeah. So you guys got not only a Ask Practical Doug, but the chat got Speed Round Practical Doug. And that's what you get when you hang out live. You might get Doug to do some of your in-person questions live right here. The other thing that you'll get when you come watch us live is you're going to get to see us debate in person.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Woo! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're here. It's happening.
Okay.
It's the Happy Haps.
It's the
And
hat. What?
I couldn't be more excited for this. Justin
What is this?
has no idea what this is, but I am fucking pumped.
I'd like to just shout out. So again, as we do these throwdowns, it's the council that puts them together, and we don't see them until right now, until I play that theme song. They post it in our shared Word document, and I scroll down, and there's the two people here, and then in parentheses it says, and the council knows us very well. In parentheses it says, Doug, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting here. So they're very well aware that I have minimal to no knowledge about who the fuck either of these people are.
Yes, this is going to be interesting. All right,
Okay.
Justin, play those drums. This week's throwdown is Doomfist from Overwatch versus Vi from League of Legends. Now,
Already, League of Legends is toxic, so I
Here's-
say it's Doomfist.
here's the thing. I can only speak to Vi from my experience in watching her in Arcane on Netflix, which you should check out now. It's really good.
Okay.
So, and I hope I'm going to do Doomfist justice here because he's pretty awesome in Overwatch.
He's an evildoer.
He is. His powers and abilities are actually, his section is relatively limited, honestly. But which one do you want to read? Do you want me to read both, or do you want to read one?
I'll read one of them. You tell
Why don't you
prefer.
do Doomfist? Why don't you do Doomfist?
All right. Here comes Doom Fist Up Your Pooper. So he's an evildoer. His full name is not important. Is from Overwatch. His occupation, he's an apprentice for something. He's one of Talon's leaders.
No. Say the name.
No.
Say the name that he was an apprentice to.
Akinjiti Adimanis. You got it. His powers and skills. He's got a hand cannon, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman stamina, peak human durability, martial arts, and he's very charismatic. His hobbies include causing destruction, seeking revenge against Overwatch. Is Overwatch a group?
It's a guy, Dan Overwatch.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah,
That's
now
good
you
to
do.
know. So his goals are to destroy Dan Overwatch and start a conflict that would make the world stronger by his beliefs. Let's go down to the powers and abilities. Being one of Talon's leaders, Doomfist has immense strength and durability. Physical strength was almost unrivaled, being capable of throwing cars with ease and creating craters with a single punch. His durability was also astounding, being able to tank tracers pistols. Yep, that makes sense to me. And so look, he's
Keep going.
He's a strong dude.
What else? What else can he
he's-
tank?
He's fast.
What else? He can tank Tracer's pistols. What else?
He can take Genji's sword and even hit from Primal Winston's punch and only be incapacitated.
Oh God, I
He's
fucking
also
love this.
fast.
You just reading this, you're like, this means nothing to me. This means
He's also-
absolutely nothing to me. I want to create a voice acting script for you, and I want you. I want to fill it. That's my goal. That's going to be a project. That's going to be a one-off where we are the council and I are going to get together, and we're going to create. That's what we're going to do. We will make a scene, a voice acted scene.
Okay.
And we're going to fill it with a whole bunch of shit like this, and you're going to have to read it. You're not going to get a whole lot of time, and maybe we'll give it to you, and you just have to figure out how am I going to read this, like what emphasis I'm going to do. You have to say it. You're going to have to mean it.
Okay.
That's going to put it's on record. That's another thing we're going to do. That will be so much fun. Just watching you right there, trying to be like, I don't know what this means. Like being able to take Tracer's pistols. What the fuck is that? Like. That's the same as me listening to people talk Pokemon. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
King Talister is always doing something about Nuzlocke. I don't know what Nuzlocke is on Pokemon. Is that a person? Is that a thing? Is that like an ability?
It's a form of cuddling.
Right? I'm going to Nuzlocke you. Grr.
Yeah.
You know? All right. So
So all right. So that's Doomfist. Doug, what do you got for
let's talk about Vi.
Vi?
short for Violet. She's an enforcer, a one-girl wrecking crew. She's also known as Fat Hands. Let's see here. She's got these gauntlets, Hextech gauntlets. She's a peak physical strength. She's got blast shields. Her hobby is smashing things, roughhousing. She likes to roughhouse. Listening to chem punk music. Oh, how nice. Disobeying orders, making vibe puns, and boxing. Let's see here. Cool. So she's a hot-headed enforcer. She's hot. Yeah, okay, so they don't really list powers and abilities here, but what I could tell you from the show is that she's a brawler. She's an accomplished fighter. She grew up on the streets. She and her sister became orphans, and she was taken under the wing of a guy named Vander, who taught her basically how to fight, how to punch. Again, it's mostly like underground. You know, she's part of, like, you know, the underworld. You know, she's not like a chaotically evil person, but she'll go and rob stuff, and she gets in fights with rival gangs and stuff like that. She knows how to handle herself. She has these big gauntlets.
Her as a do-gooder, man.
She is a do-gooder. You know, I'd say she's chaotic good in a lot of ways.
Okay.
But she grew up in the underworld, right? And so I feel like, while she's from Detroit, says no. I feel like Doomfist has, like, his fist, like, that thing is particularly brutal. Like, it's known for, like, one punch can level something. Like it says, like, he can create craters. So I think he has more power in his fist than Vi does. Like, Vi can do some pretty impressive stuff. You would not want to get punched by her.
Sure.
But Doomfist and his ability to move, he's got cannons on his gun, and I've seen what he can do in the game. A really good Doomfist player is fucking annoying. Like,
but she's got blast shields, though.
She does have blast shields, but
and she has two fists, and it looks like he's only got the one.
He only needs the one. Vi is enhanced by magic. Her gauntlets are. Her gauntlets, again, I can't speak to League of Legends. I can only speak to her from the show. She does have those enhancements, but from where we are on the show, she oh, you're right. She does get some of that magic, doesn't she? It's not really, because she takes that potion at one point in time, that tincture.
The tincture.
Yeah, so I wonder if that will play a factor later on. But she gets in a fight with those Hextech gloves. I don't know if there's maybe another one. And she does one-on-one with a regular person who also has some enhancements, but I don't think she can handle a Doomfist. That's the thing.
I mean, as Slotty said, but it's a Doomfist.
Yeah. I think one hit, it's one of those things where one hit from that would probably absolutely do her in, and she leads with her face a lot, like
an interesting combat style.
Well, because they say, I mean, she's a brawler. Like she does some amazing combos and shit. But someone goes, "I see you're still blocking with your face." Like,
right? Okay.
And Noah says, "I mean, the lady is basically low level Doomfist." With that right there, she's a low level Doomfist. She's not Doomfist.
There you go.
And as much as I love Vi, she's phenomenal. She's great. I think Doomfist, his speed, his ability, his meteor strike, like his
right.
It's no joke, man. And I think Doomfist, unfortunately, I think is going to take this one. I think Vi would be a violent and valiant effort, but you know, I think Doomfist would come out ahead.
Based purely off the fact that the type of villain he is a psychopathic brute, and one of his crimes is a jailbreak. That speaks volumes.
Well, I mean, Vi has also fought off some psychopathic, you know, people as well. She's fought off basically mindless, like, mutants. And
but a psychopathic brute?
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue she's fought off some of that stuff, but I don't think they don't have the same power that Doomfist does.
Have any of them broken out of jail? Because Doomfist has.
Vi broke out of jail.
Well, you're starting to make an argument against Doomfist now.
Yeah, but Vi broke out by someone like getting her out using
she didn't break out. She was sprung.
Using BCC. They got her out.
Reply all. I'll be ready.
BCC. Go out the back door. Another successful throwdown. Pew! Awesome. That was good. What a great matchup. That was so cool. I loved
that one.
I love that so much. That was so much fun. And again, I hate to say it again, we're just going to go ahead and ease right over to recommendations. I wasn't going to do it again. Doomfist does have a gun on his knuckles, yes. I wasn't going to do it again, but fucking Arcane, guys. Like,
you're really fucking into this,
seriously,
man.
Noah watched it, and he and I were like DMing back and forth, and we were having a really good discussion about it. I've watched it twice.
Okay.
It's so good. Like, I hope I'm not upselling it too much.
You are.
It was so enjoyable, man. Like, I just really liked it, and I don't know. It was so cool to the point where like I'm kind of like nudging Jill a little bit. I'm like, do you want to watch it? Because like I'm a pretty good judge of what Jill will like. She's not usually typically into fantasy stuff and sci-fi and things like that. But I'm like, this story is so good. I think you can get past like the steampunk stuff with it. You know?
Okay.
It's a baby cartoon show for babies. Bullshit. Because it is not for Natalie. I'll tell you that much. No, sir. So I'd definitely recommend that. And I'll also say this. Currently, I'd recommend Wheel of Time. I was a little...
I talked to Sasko, and he was not happy.
Well, Sasko's not happy.
That's it.
I haven't read the books, obviously. I was not thrilled with the first 3 episodes, but I've watched, I think, 5 episodes now, and I'm like, okay. Okay. I still think some of the CG's a little... but...
little sketch?
The story is... growing on me a little bit. I mean, I'll reserve judgment until it's done.
Okay.
And then also, I'm enjoying Hawkeye right now.
Yes.
I will say that the first 2 episodes weren't super impressive to me. I feel like the action in it is weird. I feel like the action feels overproduced. If that makes a sense. If that makes a sense.
Does that make a sense?
Like I feel like there's a lot of cuts and there's a lot of, I don't know, it doesn't, I feel like I've watched other things like Falcon and Winter Soldier and the action sequences,
sure,
for lack of a better phrase, feel more realistic.
Sure.
In a sense of just like, this seems almost CW-esque in a way for some of the action sequences.
I feel like it's hard to base a entire property around an archer and not have it feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know, like with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you've got someone who's got an arm and a shield, and you've got someone who's flying. With this, you've got someone who's shooting a bow and arrow. I feel like you do have to manufacture as much excitement out of it as you can. I do like some of the, like the scene where he dropped down in the car.
Yeah.
You know, before like some stuff like that, I thought was all right. But is there any scene in particular, without giving away spoilers, you can speak to that you were like, eh?
Yeah, I'd say the first episode during the auction, like that whole sequence in the wine cellar, I was like,
that went on a little long.
I was like,
and yeah,
it didn't feel good. What I like most about it are there's some very touching moments that are very subtle with Jeremy Renner and Clinton Barton, and just there's a lot of pain there that he's trying to deal with and process, and especially in the last episode, I felt myself being very, very compelled just by considering like what he's going through. There's, you know, the scene where he's talking to his son on the phone and, you know, and everything like that. Like that was really humanized him.
Yep.
In a way, and that episode really brought me back around. I was like, okay, cool, and also like, you know, the Echo is the name of the character that's in it.
Yeah,
she's phenomenal. Her story is phenomenal. Like, there's a lot of cool elements, but the first 2, I was like, I'm not really feeling this. But I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot all the way through. So that was a lot of me talking about recommendations. Justin, what do you got? Nothing. That's fair.
I recommend Hawkeye as well. I think it's. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think it's got an interesting place to go. I hope they go there. I feel like it could diverge into. It could easily diverge into an Iron Fist-esque, like the worst side of the Netflix series, or it could turn into a Falcon Winter. Like it's at a crossroads right now, and it could go one of two ways. So I'm hoping, it seems as though it's going to turn into the good lane. We'll find out. But I would definitely say worth a watch. And then I just finished Billions, season 5. Season 6 comes out in January on Showtime. So if you have access to it, I would strongly recommend checking it out. It's not an easy show to binge. They are like almost full hour-long episodes, but there's something about it. After a certain amount, you get real sucked into it, and it's a pretty good show. It's very Greek tragedy. You know, these are all extraordinarily flawed characters, and you know, who just can't get out of their own fucking way.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is that it gives you a really cool insight into the world of extremely high finance, like the billionaires, the hedge fund people, and then the legal side, and how a lot of people, it shows you how in politics, how quickly and easily it is to get corrupt and start making those little moral compromises that then snowballs into something else. And from everything that I've read, a lot of people from Wall Street and a lot of people, political analysts and stuff, who've watched the show have said this is one of the shows that does the best job at accurately representing how things really do run on both sides of the spectrum. So
interesting.
If you're watching it, yes, they you know, trump it up a little bit for some drama, but rest assured, as you're watching it, this is not a inaccurate representation of what happens at the top, what happens in the rooms that we will never be allowed in.
Interesting.
And then the other thing I wanted to recommend real quick was 8-Bit Christmas on HBO Max.
Okay.
Steve Zahn, June Diane Raphael, and Neil Patrick Harris. The child actors in this are fucking amazing. They are so funny, and there's a few of them who we're seeing the beginnings of some careers we're going to be watching for decades. It's not a groundbreaking show by any stretch of the imagination or movie. It is the next generation's reimagining of A Christmas Story, of
Jingle All the Way.
That, thank you. Yes. Maybe a little bit of the Goonies. There's a few other, I can't remember. I had
Jack
all
Frost.
Yep, you're nailing them right now. Keep going. What else you got for me?
Let's see here. That claymation Christmas thing that comes out every year.
The Rudolph one.
Yes, and the Frosty
absolutely.
one.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Citizen Kane.
Yes, all rolled into one.
It's a good
Die Hard.
It's a good throwback to all those movies of the 80s that were campy and fun. Princess Bride, because Neil Patrick Harris narrates what happened to him when he was a young kid. So it's cool. I would say give it a watch. If you were born in the 80s, it'll give you a little twinge of nostalgia, because it's all about wanting a Nintendo for Christmas. Original Nintendo.
There you go.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
A lot of recommendations for two people
You know,
today.
for something that we actually didn't fill in our notes, we came up with some because we weren't focused.
That's right.
Thank you all for hanging out with us. If you really like what you're seeing here, please like, subscribe, and that'd mean the world to us. And also, please be sure to follow us on all our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast. Don't forget that we stream live for the podcast on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, and also Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central for the video game stream with myself as the host. That's at youtube.com/c/Mind Gap Podcast. Check us out there, and also don't forget to check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the all-man realm, check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the places you find and consume podcasts. Please subscribe to us, share us around, leave a review, do all the things you can do on there. All of that makes a big, big, big world of difference. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap. And then just keep an eye on all of 2 East 8th's social presences, because things are coming.
Things are coming, y'all.
As Ron Jeremy once said, things are coming.
Yikes. R.I.P. So to that I say, I mean, he's getting a lot of legal problems right now.
Oh, did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. You know.
I walk back that. That's what I said.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so with that being said, I say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
YouTube chat, thank you.
And listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.